And before I forget, let me do it for this bolt too. I hope that's the center. Not sure. It's hard to tell really. Pretty close. That's not really close either. That's gonna be good enough, I think. There we go. Nice, pretty good center hole. Alright, so first thing I'm gonna do is move. I'm gonna do this one, and I think I'm gonna do it with the drill by hand. It seems like the best way to go about it. So I'm gonna move this one out of the way so it doesn't get metal shavings on it. And also what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stuff rags in the holes in this thing, just so it doesn't get any more metal shavings in it than there already are. That way I can pull this out, pull the metal shavings with it. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same with this bottom part of the cylinder, just kind of stuff the ports. I mean, it's probably not going to matter because it's going to get cleaned and washed and stuff anyway, but might as well play it safe. I'd rather not risk it. So like that. And then obviously the biggest one is this, the actual cylinder itself up top. So we'll do that. I mean, it's not likely to get any there, but might as well be careful. Cool, so the first size drill bit I'm going to use is the smallest one. It's 5/32, I think. No, 5/64. Okay. So what I'm going to do before I do that, though, I'll show you. I've got the broken off exhaust bolt and the non-broken off exhaust bolt, and I'm going to figure out how long that needs to be. So there's actually quite a bit left in there, I didn't realize. So we need it to be no deeper than, and this is a cool trick to use if you want to know exactly how deep you're going to drill something. So no deeper than, and right here, so approximately. Of course, it'd help to use a straight piece of tape. So I'm going to flag it to where the straight piece is on the edge where I want it to go to, and the rest of the tape is back where I'm not going to be drilling at all. So all the way to about here. Alright, so I'm not sure how hard this is going to be to keep it straight, but I'm going to do my best. And really, I'm going to be very careful to try not to hit this surface, because that would not be a good thing. So let's go. It's going to be kind of hard to keep it straight because I can't really see at any angle what is actually happening. So ideally, you do this in a bench press and some kind of vise, but I mean, how am I going to do that? There's probably some way, but I'm just going to do my best. Honestly, one thing you could do is have someone else, as you're holding the drill, look at it at a different angle and say, hey, you need to move it this way or this way. But yeah, you have to have someone willing to do that. So let's just start slowly. See how straight we're going. Looks pretty good. It's probably going to take a little while. Yeah, it's pretty darn straight. Yeah, that looks like it's going pretty straight, which is unusual. I obviously didn't get it quite centered, so it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be close enough, I think. It actually goes through it. That other, the Harbor Freight drill bit, I was sitting there for like 5 minutes, and once it got to a certain point, it just wouldn't go any further. So use one like this. Although this one is slightly bigger, so it's currently cutting through a little bit of the currently already existing hole, but still difficult, but it's actually going. So yeah, I would recommend using a different drill bit, because I'm pretty sure this one was brand new, because as I went through, the black started showing bare metal, and yeah, so if a brand new drill bit can't handle it, then you got the wrong drill bit. It's almost there. You can't really see probably through the hole, but I think it might actually be to the point where if I'm pushing too hard, it's going to go through. So I'm going to be very careful here. Yeah, so that's good. I'm not going any further. Let's see. I could also drill out with a slightly larger bit, and I might do that one more time. So this one, I don't mind so much using the Harbor Freight bit, because it's not drilling a hole, it's drilling through the sides of an existing hole. So it shouldn't be that bad. Yeah. It's not such a great bit, but let's try again. Okay, yeah, not use the Harbor Freight bit. How about no? Let's just use the easy out. And gouge that already, but that's okay. It's not a crucial mating surface. Just here is. Yeah, so that's a no vote for me for the Harbor Freight bits. That could have been bad because I felt that kind of break and hit my face, so just a tiny piece. It could have been worse. We'll throw that away. And maybe I shouldn't have pushed it as hard, but honestly, it should have actually cut that, because that's an easy hole to drill through when it's already a hole there and you're just drilling through the sides. So that's just a piece of junk if you ask me. The extractor should not be a piece of junk. I've used them before, and that looks perfect. That's just the right size. So what you want to do is take this, get it in pretty straight if you can, and then hit it with a hammer. Get it stuck in there pretty good. That looks pretty decent to me. Yeah, that's good. And then we'll use a tap handle to extract it. Interestingly enough, this tap handle is also from a Harbor Freight tap and die set. And if you don't know what a tap and die is, it's what you make threads with. So a tap would make threads like this. A die would make threads like this minus the welding nonsense there. So if we take and match this up, should be able to turn this out. If we get it tight on there pretty good, which doesn't want to. This thing is not the greatest at all. If this doesn't work, I'm going to get a better one. A better tap handle, I mean. Because this should be able to tighten easily on here, and it's not for some reason. Yeah, that's not going to work. And once again, that's a loss for the Harbor Freight tools as far as quality goes, and a win for something else, and in this case, Craftsman. I'm just going to tighten it down, and then turn this, and hopefully turns the screw with it. Oh, I should have put penetrating oil in this. Let me do that. Okay, yeah, one thing I just remembered is that you have to be careful where you put this, because look, hopefully you can see that. This lip, this round lip, if you put it to where it's flush at the top and you're not looking carefully, you're going to be like, oh, okay, that's good. And then you see, oh, it actually needs to be up on this lip, otherwise it's going to catch the rounded surface. There, you can see now it's actually engaged. So there you go. Maybe the Harbor Freight one was actually fine as long as we did that. And there you go. I went and broke the extractor inside the stupid bolt hole. I'm an idiot. So there's a couple things I'm thinking of trying now. There's a method you could use with a screwdriver or a chisel, which I don't know if that's going to work with that such a small hole. You kind of bang it out in a circular pattern to where the bolt would come out. Or to get the easy out, tip out, get a dremel and that has a bit that sticks in there and grind it off basically. I don't know. The other option, which I might do because I'm taking it to get the cylinder board out anyway, maybe see if the guy at that shop is able to get that out. Alright, update for you guys. I know it looks exactly the same except the workbench is a little cleaner. It's been about 2 weeks, I think. I just haven't felt like messing with this thing for a while. But the day this happened, where I broke off the last thing you saw, where I broke off the extractor, is I went to Harbor Freight and bought some more stuff. I bought these rotary bits I was talking about, bought another extractor kit so we can have the one I'm missing, which is probably more the right size anyway. And then I also bought some left-hand drill bits. I'm not too hopeful for these. I'm betting it's going to be a toss-up whether these actually work or not, because the other Harbor Freight drill bits, the ones that came with this, these were also high carbon and high speed steel construction, although that might just be the extractors. The bits might have just been cheap. So I'm hoping that since these are left-handed threads, they've thought about it and been like, hey, people are probably going to use these to get bolts out. Let's make them at least work. So we'll see about that. The first things first is going to be getting a Dremel, getting these on a Dremel and dremeling out that extractor bit tip. And maybe go all the way through the bolt. I'm not sure how far it goes though. Oh yeah, in the meantime, you can't really tell, and our garage is a wreck, but I moved the frame inside because it was getting rusty, even under a tarp. The Harbor Freight tarp was, believe it or not, starting to disintegrate and have little rips and tears in it, just from being out there. Not even from, I mean, we uncovered it like maybe 5 times total, ever. And yeah. But now, it's in a little worse shape. I mean, I needed to go through everything anyway, so that's that. But let's see what size we need. I'm thinking maybe after we get the first little bit out. Use this one to start off with, drill nice, and then nice tiny little hole in there. And then we'll use this one to finish it off. If we need to. Well, I mean, of course we will, because you can't drill that tip with a normal drill bit. This is obviously it's gonna get shavings and little tiny pieces of metal everywhere, and I don't like that, but it is what it is. It's already gonna be going to machine shop to get bored out, so it's not the end of the world. Alright, so screw the Dremel. It won't fit on this little tiny thing. We're just gonna go ahead and use a drill. Doing something, so I won't bore you guys with this. I'll just come back with a status report when it's done, or whenever if I can't do it or something. Cool. So it's only been like 2 more seconds, but I decided to switch to this smaller one, or this bigger one, because I don't know. I have a feeling that one was going to take forever and it would have not drilled the centered hole. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this hole, make it a tiny bit bigger with this. Slowly, and then I'll get to the part that I actually need to do when it gets to it. It's not a whole lot of progress. You can see about where it's been on the drill. That's about as deep as I've gotten. So here you can actually see it's starting to work. So what I found that helped was getting some oil or something on this rag, and wiping the tip, because gets pretty clogged, and I think that's why it seemed like it was going slow at first. So just kind of wipe it off every now and then. And then you got to give it some pressure. I wouldn't push too hard, because you know, just you don't want to put excessive wear on it when it doesn't need to. So about like, and not full speed either. So not like this while pushing down kind of firmly. I kind of use my thumb like this to stabilize it somewhat. And then every now and then you want to take it out, so you know what's going on. Alright, so new idea. It's going, but it's going very slow. So somebody said you could take a punch and hammer it, because these things are brittle, and that's why it broke. So let's try it. And I'm not too worried about it shattering, because it's underneath the punch and it's all in the hole. So I read one comment saying some guy did that to a broken off tap and it shattered and hit an artery. So that's not good. I don't know. I'm hoping this doesn't just dig it in further. Honestly, that probably just pushed it in. So I totally forgot about the Dremel, and I forgot that I switched sizes. So this little bit didn't fit, so maybe the big one actually did, and so maybe we'll get some better, faster cutting with this thing. There we go. Actually is working, I think. Anyway, who knows how much of that is actually the extractor and how much of that's just the edge of the bolt. But anyway, it's making progress. So you know what I'm seeing? I'm seeing that the bit is kind of just starting to swirl around the edge and make it thinner. I'm actually getting into some of the threads. So what I'm going to do is maybe potentially sacrifice a drill bit. If worst comes to worst, I'll go to Home Depot and buy some better Dremel tools. But I'm hoping at least maybe the small size of this. If I've taken it down enough to where it can actually drill through something, then maybe it will. I don't know. So the 1/8 looks like about the right size to sacrifice. Fits in there good enough. And and we have other 1/8 drill bits, not left-handed obviously, but there's another one that's close to that size. I believe 7/64. Yeah. So let's go ahead and try this. It's probably not going to work. Might as well try. Make sure it's going left. Well, it's got something. I don't know if it's what I need. So basically, no, not a chance. So yeah, it's very much looking like the only chance at this is Home Depot bits. Unless, I don't think so, but unless I can get this extractor in there enough without damaging the threads too. Voila, one Dremel bit from Home Depot. It's a diamond point, and it should be much higher quality and actually have diamonds on the tip, which I need. So yeah, we should be able to get through this thing no problem, I'm thinking, with this. Alright, so I guess we'll go straight to the Dremel. Probably put it kind of slow first. Now this thing tends to unscrew, and I don't know how to keep that from happening because I don't know how to tighten it either. So I'm just going to do that. There we go, I think that's working. Oh yeah, that ate right through that. So I'm going to continue with that until it comes out. Or we get to the bottom of it, whichever comes first. So I found out what ended up happening was the tip just kind of died. It just melted. I mean, not melted literally, but it's no longer diamond tipped and it's pointless now. Literally and figuratively. So maybe it did get a little deeper in there, so we may have room for an extractor. I would cry if I broke this one too. Looks like no. The only thing left I can think of besides going and buying more of these stupid Dremel things that don't work, or that only work for a little bit, is this punch thing again to see if I can shatter it. Maybe. The other thing you can do is if you have a punch, you can try to hit the sides, but this is already so drilled out that it's not good enough to bite on without destroying the threads. So I'm not going to do that. Alright, update. I got some of these grinding stones. And I'm hoping they aren't too big. They're the smallest ones I could find at Home Depot. I was able to find some that we had, like this, but it's too big, so that wouldn't work. They're 3/16, and I think this bolt is probably a 1/4, and yes, it fits. So I'm gonna have to be careful and grind a little bit of it off before I put it in there all the way. So, but these will work. So I have 4 of them. I don't know how many I'll need. I might need 1. I might need 2. But anyway, so unfortunately it looks like this thing is stuck on the Dremel and I don't know how to get it off, so I'm going to be stuck using the drill for now, which is fine because it'll get there. Cool, so yeah, I'm going to be very careful. Get this in there. Yeah, it actually does pretty good. There we go. Except when you do that, so now I got my Dremel bits all stuck in there. Not what I expected to happen at all. Alright, using a drill bit kind of got those out. So, looks like we need to be more careful. Yes, this seems to be working, I think. Don't know for sure, but it's definitely not broken. So yeah, I'm glad I didn't use the dremel. It would have broken immediately. So I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but that little dot in the middle might be the easy out. I'm not sure. It also might just be wherever this thing happens to be collecting, or the old bit happened to be collecting dust from when I was poking it with the other one. I'm not sure anymore about this thing being the gauge because I didn't realize this tape was sliding around. So let's check against our bolts. Yeah, so to get fully in there, we need not necessarily the easy out. We need to get that far. We're about maybe halfway there. So we got a ways to go. Alright, y'all, it's been a couple hours. That might be an understatement, I don't know. Just basically back and forth with some of these left-handed drill bits, these things. And honestly, and strangely, the thing that seemed to work the best for actually getting through it, although it was still slow, was this thing. Even though it didn't have diamonds or whatever on the tip anymore, it still, for some reason, was able to get through. And I just got a sharp drill bit that I hadn't used while that easy out thing was still in there, and we were able to get through. So it started drilling, but the hole's kind of gotten off center. So what I'm going to do is take a slightly larger drill bit, one that's about the size of the hole. See if I can't use that. This one's also sharp. Maybe get a straighter cut. Now that I have, at least I'm fairly certain I have the easy out all the way ground out and stuff. So this is a left-handed drill bit, so maybe it'll take the screw with it. There we go. It's all the way through, so hopefully that made a straighter hole. But what I did notice was there actually is a hole, just like on this side, where you go through enough and it's nothing. Because you stick this in, it goes through. So now we have the same thing here. I found that out because I actually saw there was dirt, like this kind of dirt, and that's why it looked like it was solid. So we got through, yay! Let's have a look at that hole. It's kind of hard to tell, but not too shabby, really. Oh yeah, I didn't get all the way through that without damaging it. I broke this thing. It kind of gouged it a little bit. Not too bad. I'm honestly surprised I didn't do any more damage to the mating surface. So that's a good thing. But anyway, let's see about getting this cleaned up. Go. Honestly, I'm probably gonna have to do something with the threads, like put a not a helicoil. There's some other name for those things. It's a different kind, but something like that is probably gonna have to go in there, and I'm gonna have to retap the threads and everything. Well, actually, no. Yeah, I'll have to tap new threads for that thing. So let's go ahead and see if we can't get this out. It's pretty thin in there, so shouldn't be too bad, except for the fact that half of it is still there and half of it's probably just where I destroyed threads. If it doesn't work, like if it doesn't start to go, I'm not going to go, because I don't want to break this one off too. I ain't about to do this twice. And I mean the getting it out, the easy out. So yeah, I honestly can't tell if that's going to do it or not. It's moving, but I don't know. Yeah, honestly, I think that's just destroying the aluminum. Yay. Let's drill this back out. So one option would be the machine shop that I'm taking it to get the cylinder rebored is able to do that. Not the helicoils, the other kind of, I can't remember what they're called at the moment, but Yeah, so that was one option. It's going to be expensive though. It's $10 for the part plus half an hour of labor, which his labor is $85 an hour, so that's about 40 bucks, 50 bucks for something that if I can do it myself would be cheaper, but I don't know. Okay, so I've got a pretty big update on this thing. As you can see, the hole's been drilled out bigger, and I think I'm in a position where I can just go the one size up for a Time-Sert. So let me back up really quick. I know I've been doing a lot of this on my own just because I have no idea how long it's going to take and I don't know what's going to work. So I figured I'd do it and recap for you guys just so you don't have to watch me fail for hours on end, literally, because it took me several hours yesterday. Different day than the last time you saw this video. Yeah, basically what I've been doing, sorry, let me back up again. My decision was to do the Time-Sert myself because the kit is about $70, and like I was saying, to take it to the machine, the dude that's going to rebore the cylinder to do it would be about $70 as well. Plus, if I get it, I get the kit. I can sell the kit used. I can do the work myself. If I ever have that same size bolt, which is unlikely, then I could do it again. But it is possible on this bike. There are others that are going to break on the frame itself and stuff like that. Hopefully not, but if they do, they might be a similar size or the same size. So basically, the Time-Sert kit for this, the bolt size would be M6 1.0, and it's about 16 millimeters. That might be too long. I don't remember if I actually bought exhaust bolts for this, but I did buy some from Home Depot that were basically the same. It might be a little long or short, I'm not sure. But the Time-Sert is 9 millimeters, which is about a centimeter. So it's like technically 9.4, so it should be enough. And basically what I did to get it to this point was I used a Dremel on the drill. Obviously, if the Dremel bit wasn't stuck on the Dremel, I would have used the Dremel itself. But the part of the bolt that was still on there was about right here, all along this area. I took a Dremel, slowly, carefully ate through the Dremel bit, getting just on that edge. The first thing I did, which I regret doing, was I actually tried to make a template sort of thing, or a guide, and it worked. I was able to screw this thing into the good threads, line up the hole, but of course, because it was off center, it shifted to the original hole. I let it drill anyway because I thought it could hold. I thought I could hold it in a good enough position to kind of bite into some of the bolt. No, that didn't happen. The opposite happened. It went straight for the hole that was already there. So don't do that. Learn from my mistakes. The first thing I'm going to do right now, before I determine whether I can actually continue with this repair the way it is check the exhaust and make sure the holes line up good. Because obviously, if the hole's not going to line up, there's no point in doing the Time-Sert with this hole. And the only other solution I could think of, which might not even work because it might warp some stuff, would be to refill in this with aluminum, like have somebody weld aluminum into that hole, and then retap the hole, which would suck. It'd be expensive. But yeah, I mean, I could, I want to say I could do the re-drilling, but judging by the fact that I couldn't even drill a straight hole, an on-center hole onto an existing bolt that was literally right there, I don't think I could do it. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. Yeah, the other main thing that I ran into, and it's part of the reason I couldn't drill a straight hole, is because there's no good way to hold this. Like, you can see, it's already got fins. You can't really hold onto those. This is at a, not only is it tilted this way, it's tilted this way. So there's no easy way to do it. I tried. Like, I actually got it to clamp between this bottom surface and this top surface with pieces of wood, but even though I got that clamped, there was nothing to hold it in a position where this would be flat. So what I ended up doing was kind of using I scratched this, the template thing, because that didn't work, and I ended up mostly using the Dremel to get rid of the excess screw and get kind of the right shape. so that way it would kind of stop going into the wrong hole, or the wrong part of the hole. And then a lot of what I did too, I mentioned already, but is I took a drill bit smaller than the size of the hole, kind of went all along the edge that I wanted to get hit more, to kind of clean it up and get that edge drilled out instead of the bad hole that I drilled. So yeah, let me stop rambling for now, and we're gonna try the exhaust and just fit it to it and see what happens. And if it lines up good, it lines up good. If it doesn't, then we're gonna have to think of something else. But I'm pretty confident that it's gonna work. Cool. So the first thing I'm gonna do, because I realize this big old thing is gonna be really hard to get lined up with that, so I believe this piece comes off. So I'm gonna try to do that if I can. First, get the springs off, if I can do that even. So I'm hoping anyway. Yeah, I don't know about that. It may just be better to leave it. Although I'm gonna have to take these off at some point, because I would need to paint this thing. There we go, I got one. Just took some oomph. This one I'm not so sure about. It's kind of stuck on there. You can kind of see. I remember on this bike we took the exhaust off because it was kind of messed up, and the same kind of issue. The springs were hard to get on and hard to get off and hard to get on. Maybe. Yeah, there we go, almost. If I don't stab myself with it, there we go. That's 2 down. And I'm gonna kick myself if this thing doesn't come off like it is. But I know you can buy this piece separately, so it has to. So, right? I mean, that's my assumption that this comes off. Could be totally wrong. Nope, it's coming off. Very carefully. Now, I see the outside piece of this is rubber, like this piece. I'm betting the inside is too. There we go. No, it's actually metal. Okay, well that's kind of nasty looking, so I'm glad I took that off. So that's going to need to be cleaned up. It has a ring, like a piston looking ring type thing. That's weird. Would not have expected something like that. Anyway. That is good. So now all we have to do is just fit this piece onto there. We don't have to pull this whole stupid exhaust and try to line it up. All we need, and that way we can get a better idea of it too. Like that. And obviously this would have the metal gasket there, but not right now, just because we're testing the fit. So that goes in, no problem. And fingers crossed this other one, this stupid one, is going to line up. It's not perfect. It's not going to be perfect yet if it fits, but my hope is that it at least lines up. And it goes in the hole. Kind of. Yeah. Let's see. That's So it doesn't go all the way, unless, I don't think it matters, but unless this side is the bottom. Because I can't imagine that hole not lining up that bad. It wants to go, it's not quite there, and the hole's not straight, which sucks, but at least now I know I need to focus more on that right edge, so right here. You know, actually, that's not the hole itself, like the outside of the hole. I think it's the inside of the hole that's not the right shape. So yeah, I think if we focus on that, then we might be okay. So I'll get either the drill bit or the Dremel, do that last little bit, and then we'll try another test fit. But that's going to be awesome if it's good. Cool. I know I didn't show you guys that, but it's literally, I'll show you really quick. That's all it is. Just in the right spot where it needs to be. And we'll give it another try. I think we'll be okay with using it this way. I don't remember exactly which way, if the springs go on top or bottom. I want to say they go on top, but I could be wrong. It depends on the orientation of the exhaust pipe, and I don't really feel like figuring that out right now. So that one goes in like that, and this one still, oh, there we go, that is it, guys. Whew. Okay, that is a lifesaver right there. That means that's gonna work. So I'm gonna order that kit, the Time-Sert kit. It's about 70 bucks, but like I said, the cost of somebody else doing it, it's $10 for the Time-Sert plus his time, which is, I think, marked at half an hour, which at $85 it's about 40 bucks. So by the time you get it, it might be 50 bucks, but plus I get the kit, and I can do it again if I need to. So yeah, that's gonna work out great. The only thing now is the drill bit for the actual Time-Sert needs to be run through there, and then the kit to tap it and put the Time-Sert in, and this thing will be good. Alright, so it's been a few days. I got the Time-Serts from Amazon. So basically there's a whole kit that comes with all this stuff and 5 inserts. So you'd obviously want to double check, like I did already, to make sure the inserts will fit on the piece you're trying to insert them on. So yeah, it looks like I might have a potential issue here, because if you can see that the length of these is not exactly the same. This screws in, but it kind of stops a little bit too soon. But yeah, it's basically dremeled out and drilled out to the right shape, and the bit's going to go in the right place. So there are instructions. I don't need those quite yet. We need the drill bit first. I've never done this before. I've done drilling and retapping existing threads, but I've never done a Time-Sert or a helicoil before. So well, we will read the instructions. Just okay, so drill out the old threads. We're going to do that right now. The counterbore, I'm not sure what the counterbore is, actually. Counterboring. I think that, oh, countersink. That's what this is, basically. There's a little bit of it on here, where there's a little, if this was a blown up picture of the hole, it's like this on the edge, so that the screw can, or this piece can sit in there flat. So that's what that is. I've never seen a tool for it. I've always just used a slightly larger drill bit. Okay, so we need to counterbore it to the complete depth of the tool that it lets us. So yeah, when the larger diameter contacts the surface, a full 360 degrees is the full depth. So I assume that, let's stop right there. This lip is where we stop. And then after that, we can tap the hole. And then we use the driver, which I have not seen yet. Yeah, so we'll get to that when we get to it. First off, close this up, drill the final size drill bit hole. Okay, so I need to be careful and not drill in the old hole, the old big hole. I need to concentrate and make sure it stays in the position I want it right here. Which it almost was already that size, which is okay. So, yeah, we've got our full hole now. So now we can use the counter bore. Okay, here we go. And it looks like it does cut clockwise, so very careful. Slow to medium, like they said. This is probably not the ideal place to do it, like on a drill. Oh, you're supposed to use oil for this too, but I didn't do that. It doesn't tell me in these instructions, but it's aluminum, so I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. Oh no, sorry, oil on the insert driver. I take it back what I said. So, looks like it. So we got that counter board. Now we need to tap the hole. So this is usually a pretty delicate process. I'm not going to probably show the entire thing. I'll just show a few parts of it. I did a similar thing in my edger bike video. It was more tedious and more careful, more important to get it right because it was a steel tap into a piece of steel. But this is aluminum, so it shouldn't be that hard. But still, be careful. You don't want to break a tap inside a hole, especially one that we've already worked so hard to get an easy out of. So we're just going to put it in the tap. I guess you call this a tap wrench. I'm not sure. The thing that holds the tap. So make sure. Yeah, it's pretty clean. There's still a hint of the old threads. It's not a huge deal, I don't think, but you really want to get it straight if you can. Like, you don't want to cock it. So go very slowly at first. I mean, I think it'd be pretty hard to do that anyway, but yeah. So once you get it started, I think it's almost ready. It's almost started. And I hope this hold is good enough to take the tap. You get new threads. I think it will. Yeah, it's starting to go in. Yeah, I don't know. I may have screwed these up too bad because I'm not feeling any resistance on that. It's like it's too big for the new threads. That shouldn't happen with a tap. You should be having to back it off because of pressure. And it's already all the way through, so I don't know. I may have messed this up. I mean, it did something. They do make a thing called a bigger cert or something, which would suck because I already bought this kit. There are new threads in there. There may not be exactly the right thickness or size. Let's see if I can show you. Yeah, it may just be because it's aluminum. It didn't feel like it was doing anything, but it actually was. So I'm going to go through that one more time with the same tap. I mean, why would I use a different tap? So just to kind of clean up the threads a little bit, because I went through that pretty quick. Because usually what you do is you'll have resistance when you get to a certain point, and then you back off a little bit. That kind of cleans the threads, because what it's doing is it's cutting, and whatever it was cutting is kind of going to get in the way of going further. So I'm just going to run this through a bunch to clean those up and make those threads really nice. Okay, there we go. Yeah, those don't look awful. They're not perfect, and there's going to be spots where there aren't really threads. but it's enough spots that do have threads in the right place that it's going to work, I think. So this thing is the driver tool. I assume you just stick it in there. I'm not sure. I hope this goes in far enough to where it can actually do it. Okay, so it needs to pass through the insert about 1/4 inch or 6 millimeters to fully form the threads. And you need to make a visual mark so you don't bottom it out, because apparently you don't want to do that either. That actually goes pretty far, so I don't think we would bottom this out at all. Oh, okay, I see what they're saying. The driver itself needs to go 1/4 inch, at least 1/4 inch into, like, past the threads, I guess. So I think what they're saying is it needs to go through the insert, but it needs to go about that much further for it to fully seat. So that'll be fine. That'll be fine. Oh, wow. Insert driver oil or 30 weight motor oil. Yeah, that'll work. I got plenty of that. This oil is full of water. Not going to use that. So this just happens to be synthetic. It's the only kind that I can find laying around. So put some oil in there. I don't know. It doesn't say how much, but that's probably enough. It's oiled. So screw an insert onto the driver. I don't think it's going to go very far on it yet. It doesn't matter because we're going to be driving it in, right? Maybe? Yeah, that's about as far as it'll go. Alright, next we start putting this in. Wow, okay, those threads look straight to me. I like it. So, you know, it's the lip is bottoming out on that thing we made with the counter bore, which is good. So we'll just take the tap handle, stick it on the driver insert tool thingy, slowly kind of put it in there, and it's supposed to give some resistance and then keep going. So that's opening up the threads, and I think that solves the issue I thought we had before, where it kind of seemed like it was maybe gonna not let the screw go all the way through, but I don't think we're gonna have that issue. We'll find out shortly. So that might be good already, but just in case, I'm gonna let it go. Yeah, that's good. So that's also, yeah, that's definitely what's gonna happen, because this thing's clearly going all the way through. So yeah, there's no issue with that. It's all the way in. We can take it out. Take it back now, y'all. Yeah, so this worked flawlessly, actually. It's yet to be seen. We'll see in a few minutes whether the screws will fit and line up in the holes that they go into. But I have to say, I'm pleasantly surprised by the way this turned out. Much better than I expected, honestly, at the beginning, at least, with the off-center hole. There we go. Oh yeah, you can't even tell that the hole is messed up. Look. It looks like I did it right, even though I've majorly screwed up a few times. So look, that's that thing in. Nice. I am really happy about that. It's almost not even noticeable. Unless you, well, no, I take that back. If you look at this one compared to that one, it's clear. Yeah, so let's put a bolt in there and see what happens. Oh yeah, that goes in there good and pretty straight enough for me. And it's going all the way, so that's a good thing. Oh yes, I'm so excited, guys. You have no idea. This means that we can move on to the next step with this thing, the cylinder, which is stripping the paint and sending it off to get the cylinder rebored. I am so happy. You have no idea. So yeah, before we do that though, that's going to be another video anyway, but let's double check and make sure the exhaust does actually fit. Cool, so I got this vacuumed out, so there's no shavings, or at least not that many. And I accidentally sucked up some stuff. I sucked up the orange thing around what goes to the tap, and I sucked up a nut, I think. I'll have to look at the video again and see what I sucked up, but it doesn't matter for right now. All we need to do is check the fit, this end goes here. And then we get a bolt, one that goes in there, and one that goes in here, and it looks like it fits. Yes! Yes, that is going to be perfect, guys. That makes me so happy, you know. It's not perfectly straight. Actually, it's pretty darn close. It probably wouldn't hurt to have a washer here, but honestly, that's actually not bad. That's pretty darn straight for a free-handed hole. It's a little bit off, so maybe a crush washer of some sort could go in there. But wow, I am super happy about that. That's like worst case scenario repair right there. Everything goes wrong. I mean, obviously it could have gone worse if I'd failed at further on in this process, but since I got this done and got it right, I'm happy. And I know it cost me $70 to fix this mistake, but it was worth it for me. Even, I don't know, just the idea of having being able to fix it for one, and having a cylinder that came with the bike, plus one that has the fin that can be welded back on if possible, is pretty cool. So yeah, I'm really happy about this. That is that repair. That thread repair is complete. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully this was helpful or enjoyable. You got something out of it. But yeah, stay tuned for more on this project, the MR175 Elsinore, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.